We're about to count a number of whimbrel roosting on the post.
Yes, we've got some coming up now.
Took the other one off.
I've been doing these bird counts for about 5 years. I have no professional expertise in this area. I'm a biochemist in medical research, but as I moved into retirement, I wanted to start doing some things that I had not been able to do because I hadn't had time. And I've always been interested in the natural environment. I've always also loved water birds. I don't know why, just do. So what we're doing now is we're going out every month on the high tide and counting all the shorebirds that we can find at the sites where they roost, because when they're feeding they spread out all over the place and we never really know where to find them. But there are not many sites where they can roost, which they do when the tide is high, and so we go and look for them there and we count them. The thing is, you can never tell exactly what you'll find where, but we know that this is one of the places where we find them. The numbers go up and they go down, but it's only when you look over a longer term, and that probably about 10 years I would say, that you can actually see whether there's a real trend. So this will go on until 2020, and it's done across Australia, and on the bay here we do it every month. 2 Godwit, 3 little black cormorants,
3 little black cormorants. We're standing on Towra Spit Island, which is a small sandy island in the Towra Point Nature Reserve in Botany Bay. Now this sandy island is a very important roosting and breeding site for a number of shorebirds in Botany Bay. It's an important roosting area for migratory shorebirds and resident shorebirds here, the eastern curlew, the bar-tailed Godwit, the pied oystercatcher, and during the summer months, in some years, it's an important breeding site also for the pied oystercatcher and the migratory little tern, which arrives from Japan to come to southern parts of Australia to breed. Recently, this little island has now joined itself up to the mainland through sand movements in the bay, and we didn't have a very successful breeding season this year. This is still a haven for bird life, and in particular it's a haven for migratory shorebirds. Some recent work done on the Bar-tailed Godwit in New Zealand implanted a small satellite tracking device in a number of the birds and discovered just how amazing these migrations really are. Because this little Godwit left New Zealand and flew directly to the Yellow Sea in Korea, a distance of 10,200 kilometres. And it did this without stopping. It flew continuously for 7.5 days until it arrived at the Yellow Sea, without sleeping, without drinking, and without eating. And the next leg of the journey takes the Bar-tailed Godwit from Korea across the Bering Sea, past the Aleutian Islands to Alaska, a journey of another 7,000 kilometres non-stop. And it arrived in Alaska into the tundras where they will breed. But then in August, at the end of August, this little Godwit, known as E7 because of its leg flag, took off from Alaska and headed out across the Pacific Ocean directly towards Hawaii. But it didn't stop at Hawaii. It kept going till it got to New Zealand, which was a distance of 11,000 kilometres non-stop. And scientists just didn't realise that it was actually possible for a bird to do that. If you see a little Godwit on the sand flats at Sandringham, busily running around, and you think, oh, just let the dog chase the birds. It's frantically feeding to get enough energy to make this incredible migration. So if you do take the dog down, put it on a lead and keep it away from the birds, because every bit of energy is critical for these birds. And to undertake these journeys is astonishing. There are birds that are now 20 years old who are doing this journey every year, and that is just amazing. Such an incredibly high energy lifestyle. And I said, you have to call them the original jet setters, because we'll hop on a jet to fly to China. We use thousands of litres of jet fuel. And the Bar-tailed Godwit is using 300 grams of fat to do the same thing, which is just incredible. So when you look at the little birds and you think, oh, they're nice birds, they are nice, but they are amazing. So I'm sure we can all make space for them, and we can do our best to protect what habitat we have. And by keeping watch and monitoring the numbers, we're wanting to make sure we understand what's happening to the populations and do we need to do something. So we're trying to work those things out, and then we're trying to seek support to do some important actions to help conserve these birds and to help protect this very important nature reserve in the midst of Australia's biggest city, on the edge of the international airport and the port. It's obviously, it's a place that attracts both people and wildlife. And it attracts them both because it's a place of very rich resources. That's why we're all here. But yes, if we're wealthy enough, let's make space for them.